How are we going to do that? Okay. So I broke it down to think about what do I do actually daily in practice? Okay. So this first one, if they arrive asleep, let them sleep. Let them sleep until you need to move them. So leave them in the car seat, do the intake with the parents, or do your sort of follow-up questions with the parents, then start to take them out, see if they can be taken out when kept asleep, and then put them on a blanket or pillow, however you like to work. Some practitioners believe in this, some don't. I've treated it with the baby in the car seat, and I don't do that much, but I do it knowing that I have to work on little tiny facial bones or the mandible or back in the OA here, or balancing some of the tissues under the cranial bones because, hey, they're asleep. Babies don't love touch around their eyes down here very much. They'll tolerate it up here at certain ages, but the older they get, they're just swatting your hands away. So a little bit of work in the car seat isn't that bad. I'll show you a picture or two of how I set that up later on. So that's if they arrive asleep. Now, let's say they arrive crying. So opposite end of the spectrum. Usually they arrive crying because of gas. And I would say that that's the hardest situation to deal with because you can just palpate their abdomen or put your hand on their abdomen and it feels very like lots of rebound, full of gas. What I do there is get the baby out of the car seat, obviously. And the first thing I do is try to inhibit and calm down the paraspinals, usually from T11 all the way down the lumbars with a nice soft touch, because lying down on their side can make the air bubble move a little bit from where it's trapped in one of the corners and of the colon or the small bowel. And then I'll wait there for a while and then I'll flip them to the other side if they're still kind of crying, fussing, and inhibit again. They're laying on their opposite side. It's an attempt to move the bubble around. And then eventually, if that's not settling down, I'll put them on their back and see if I can inhibit from underneath. And then you can put them prone. A lot of babies like it prone when they have gas, and then they calm right down. And I'll maybe distract the sacrum a little bit just to open up the spine. And it really doesn't take very much effort to do a little bit of a gentle tug up through the neural tube. Obviously, you want to do very carefully and see what happens there. Worst case scenario, if they won't stop crying because of gas, attempt to feed, bottle or breast, just get them to stop crying, even though they may have just eaten before coming, even though they might not seem to want it too much. Just try, just so you can maybe inhibit the OA or do some work somewhere, or try to inhibit the spine a bit more, because they do stop crying as soon as they get something in their mouth. So that's another idea right there. Now, they might arrive hungry, but this doesn't happen very often. Most parents get the baby fed before they bring them in the car, but they might. And if they arrive hungry, because maybe they had an errand before they came to see you and they are hungry, first thing I would do is not try to assess anything on the table or whatever. You don't want a baby crying because they're hungry. Get them on the bottle or the breast right away and say, hey, I don't usually start at the head, but I'm going to let you get the baby latched on. I'm just going to check general things about that setup, check general things about the mechanics, watch, listen. And then once the baby gets going and there's a rhythm, you slowly enter that space. We don't go in too fast. I have a little picture or video later of me doing a little bit of treatment that way, so you can see how slow I go in, because I don't want to disrupt the baby's rhythm too much, because I don't want them to start crying. So this is nice. If they arrive calm, hey, start however you want. Oftentimes we start from the bottom and move up, or maybe you just want to take a look what's generally going on. And some people do lots of arcing, which just means follow your hand. Something tells you to put your hand on their chest. So that's how you start. Some people are more like energetic workers, and that's fine. But they don't stay calm forever. If they're asleep, they might. Sometimes that's, lovely to have in the day, but they get bored, or they want a little bit of a different stimulus. So that's where you're just going to keep switching positions, and they can stay very happy like that. So basically, you're kind of just, as you're treating, you're always looking back up at their face. If they're starting to show a little bit of grunting, or, obviously like whining and then or crying, obviously you're going to just pick them up, try some stuff in seated. Oh, they're tired of that, well, lay them down on their side, see if they like it on their side. Just keep switching and you can get a lot done. There's been lots of times when I've been treating lumbars, baby didn't like it, tried a couple other positions, still didn't like it. I went, okay, you know what? Nothing else is working. I'm putting a glove on and I'm going to check intraoral. I'm going to do all that assessment because babies love to suck on something. So I'll just get that part out of the way right now and then go back to the stuff that I originally was looking at before. So another way to keep babies calm is take breaks. So that means breaks from your touch and your treatment and assessment. You can keep them with you and just stand up, walk around, look at a plant in the room, stand in front of a mirror, coo, have fun with them, do that for a little bit, put them down, see if you can continue. If they're not having that, then say, okay, see mom, see dad, have a little cuddle, have a little break. And I always use that time and say, I just need to, use my time wisely. I'm going to turn around, get to my computer and just tell you when we can book a follow-up. They understand that you need to, and just do that. And then I squirt my hands again, clean them off because keyboards can be dirty. And then I'll take the baby back and do some more work. I think I already went over this last point, get a glove on and do the intraoral assessment. Babies love to suck and explore orally. That's just a really good, quick go-to because it'll just change their whole mood.